Hey, what's up, Mets fans? Good evening. And on this episode of the Bat Cave, I will be talking. I'll be looking back at the Mets June. What a June to remember there. Compared to last June, it's a total 180 there. Looking ahead, what can we expect through July? Are the Mets contenders, pretenders, this, that, the other? I'll recap tonight's game between the Mets and Nats. The Mets lost, and who's next? We'll get the standings, and maybe a little bit of All-Star talk as well. So that and much, much more. I will be back in about 50 seconds or so. What's up, Mets fans, and welcome to the Bat Cave. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, Kenny Fry, and it is hump day. It's a little bit different hump day. Usually I'm on 10 a.m., but I was a little bit busy this morning, and my daughter had a pretty neat opportunity today. It was her travel softball team's in a showcase this weekend called the TNT Showcase, and today was a TNT Showcase clinic where they had 36 college coaches around, and I think the majority of them were Division I coaches, being headlined by the head coach from Texas and Florida State. I know Rutgers was there. Like I said, a multitude of other coaches and a bunch of most of them, I think, believe are D1 from what they've been advertising anyway. But it was pretty neat to see all the older girls, going through that process, and it's good for my daughter to see that kind of stuff. She's only 14, heading into her freshman year, so she's not quite at that point yet for recruitment. But it's neat to see other girls go through it, and so she can see that. But anyway, that's why I was not on this morning. I was busy with that, and that's why my schedule with all my other shows have been so sporadic. It's just I've been so busy with her softball stuff and my work schedule, and it's been really hard to be consistent. But hopefully that starts kind of leveling out here really soon, so I can be more consistent with my shows. Get the content out there that you want, that you need. All you fans out there of the Bat Fry, you need me in your life. I know you do. I can feel it. And here I am anyway. Tonight, 11 p.m., 11:15, whatever time it is. But anyway, it is hump day still for another, 45, 50, what was it? We got 40 minutes yet, 35, 40 minutes. So it's still hump day for a little bit. All right, so looking back, we'll start off tonight looking back at tonight's game. Unfortunately, the Mets lost. They won the first two of this series, a 4-game set here with the Nats. Won the first two games, extra innings. Great. Actually, a really fun games to watch. Back and forth. One team to be behind, the other team would come from behind, tie it up, and we'd end up going extras. And the great thing the last two games was that the Mets were getting those wins in extra innings. They were blowing the doors off the Nationals there in the extra innings. The first game, the Nats did make a little bit of a comeback and bring it within 2 runs. But still, the Mets had that pretty much in hand. I never felt like it was really in trouble. I did get a little bit nervous, but again, I was fully confident that we would be all right. We'd get that win 2 nights ago, and last night another one in extra innings where the Mets went ahead and put a handful of runs up there in the 10th inning to get the win. But today, unfortunately, the Mets jump out to a nice 5-run lead, but just cannot hold it. So we'll go over that real quick. All right, so the Mets, they get on the board first in the 3rd inning. Tyrone Taylor, a nice home run, 413 foot to left field. Tyrone Taylor's hasn't been really all that consistent at the plate. There's been moments where he has provided some big hits, or he's gotten on base when needed to, but he's not been very consistent, not reliable at the plate. But in the field, very good. I know the night before he had some really nice plays out there in right field and also center field when Bader got hurt to really keep the Mets in the game and ahead. So anyway, he gets us off to a 1-0 lead. Then Mark Vientos, who's still providing a ton of pop, great to see. He hits a 2-run blast there in the 4th inning with JD Martinez on base. Good to see JD back out there. He's having some ankle issues. I mean, I don't know. I was listening to a podcast. It was Locked On Mets podcast, and with Ryan Finkelstein, he was saying that JD's having ankle issues and that he was waiting for a new pair of shoes to come from Adidas, and he tried a different pair, and it made things worse or something like that. I mean, I never heard of that before, but I could imagine that happening. For myself, I know there's certain shoes that I buy. I'm flat-footed. Certain shoes that I buy, I wear them, and my feet are just killing me afterwards. And I try to break them in, and no matter what happens, I just cannot break those shoes in, and it's just incredibly painful. I got to switch to another pair of shoes. So I could understand where Martinez is coming from there. So hopefully he got his new shoes. He can be in the lineup, and it won't be an issue. Francisco Lindor, he hit a 2-run homer, put the Mets up 5-0 there in the 5th inning. Everything's going good. Christian Scott is, cruising through 5 innings. Everything's looking good. But then in the 5th, he gave up a single to Garcia. Or he gave up a single to Vargas. Garcia scored. That made it 5-1. Still feeling good. He let a couple runners on there in the 6th inning, though. And I don't know. I'm always the kind of guy say, let's see what your starting pitcher can do. Let's see if he can get that final out. He had 2 outs there in the 6th inning. You want to see him get that final out, kind of preserve the bullpen a little bit longer, and you want to see what he's made of as well. Can he make that good pitch? Can he make that right pitch to get out of that inning, to get out of a jam? And unfortunately, he did not. Garcia took him yard for a 3-run home run and made it 5-4. Then Mendoza had to come out and pull him at I think it was 99 or 100 pitches. So you can argue maybe he left him in there a little bit too long. I know there's been times where Mendoza seems like he has a quick hook on some guys, and sometimes kind of let them alone a little bit. In hindsight, maybe he left Christian Scott out there a little bit too long. But again, if it's me, the type of fan I am, I want to see if he can get through. I want to see if he can go out there, muster something up, push through it, and get out of that inning. Get that full 6 innings. If he was able to get out of it, it still would have been 5-1. You're not expecting him to give up a home run. That's probably the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, get out of it without giving up any runs. All the stuff in between. Maybe he gives up a single, 1-run scores. It's now 5-2 with 2 runners on. Then you go to the bullpen. But giving up that 3-run bomb, that really hurt. But Mets were still in the lead, still up 5-4. They get to the bullpen against the Nationals, and they just can't. Mets couldn't do anything against the Nationals bullpen, not even one hit. Unfortunately for the Mets, 7th inning, the Nats tie it up and pull ahead. Thomas doubled left to left, knocking Abrams in. Wood got his first RBI in Major Leagues. Good for him. I know this whole series, if you're watching it on TV or not, I'm watching it on Dofu Sports on my little cellular telephone here. And they kept panning over to his parents, and panning. So it's good for him. He got his first Major League RBI. I'm happy for his dad. Was really excited. So that's a neat experience. And it actually turns out to be the game-winning RBI as he knocks Thomas in there in the 7th. And the 8th inning, Garcia hits his 2nd home run of the game, and that makes it 7-5. And like I said, Mets could not do anything against that Washington bullpen. Let me see how many innings it was for the Nats bullpen. It was I think it was like 4 or 5 innings of nothing. 4 innings. One. No, it was. I'm sorry. It was 2 innings. 3 innings. 3 innings. 3 innings. No hits. Couple strikeouts. They did get a walk. They did get a guy on. but that was it. They had one base runner against the Nats bullpen, and kudos to them. Because the Mets lived off the Nats bullpen the last couple nights, and the Nats bullpen went out there and they shut them down. I mean, I got a little bit excited when I seen Hunter Harvey come out there. Because the Mets just feasted on this guy the last 2 nights. Like, all right, we'll come back now, but unfortunately, just couldn't get anything going. So, kudos to the Nats. They have one more game to go. They'll be playing tomorrow morning, which is kind of odd. I don't know why it's so early, but 11 a.m. Maybe it's because it's the 4th of July. I'm not really sure. But 11 a.m. tomorrow, you'll have Mets, Nats. Let's see if the Mets can get that series win, which is the most important thing. It'd be nice if you win all the sweeps and stuff like that, but the most important thing, just get the series win. And what happens after that is all extra. So up 2-1 in the series. Let's stay away from the split. Let's get that win and move on from there. Move on to Pittsburgh. So we got a couple comments here before I move on to talk about Mets June. We got our boy Paul Spencer here checking in. He said, "What's up, buddy? Can't wait for your daughter to do a live commitment so we can cover on Out of the Box Sports." Absolutely, that's what's going to happen too. And it's going to happen. I'll have a bunch of hats. We got quite a few years to go yet, but there'll be a bunch of hats set out there, and it'll be pretty cool. Abrams was flying from second to home. Oh my God, yeah. I think it was from first to home. I believe. I think he was on first base. It was maybe it was second. I feel like it was first base. But the dude was cruising. The Mets didn't even have a chance to get that guy. And Abrams, they've been talking about him all series about how he can fly, how he can run. The national shortstop, and absolutely, he can run. He can absolutely run. It's lanky kind of looking guy, long strides, just trucks around the bases. The throw was a little bit off to the right of the plate. Good throw. It would have been closer, but I still don't think that they would have had him. The dude was just cruising. Yeah, and that tied the game up. I can't remember if he was first. For some reason, I felt like he was on first base, but either way, it was he was moving. And again, all the credit to them. They bounced back. They could have folded it in again tonight, being down 5-0 after losing 2 heartbreakers there in extra innings last 2 nights. Kudos to the Nationals and the Mets. You can't win them all. July has started off all right so far. 2-1 so far in July. I just keep things rolling, one game at a time. And the Nationals, they're not out of it. They're in the wild card race as well. They're a couple games behind the Mets now, but it just takes get a little bit hot, get some decent pitching, and anything can happen. And so speaking of which, the Mets after May, you weren't even really thinking about wild. I mean, you were thinking about wild card because they weren't that far out. I think they might have been 4.5 or something like that, 5 games out, which in May is not a big deal, especially the wild card. Because wild card, you're looking at usually quite a few mediocre type teams where anything can happen. They can fall into a huge slump. They can find a heater, go on a run. All those teams, any team in the wild card race, you can say that about. They all have talent. They all have their holes in their lineups or pitching staffs or whatever. And again, they can all either fall in hard times or find that heater and just go on a run. So is that going to happen to anybody? May was absolute trash for the Mets, 9-19. They reverse it. They go in June. They go 16-8 in June. They hit 280 as a team in June. 280. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. On base percentage of 356, slug of 504, and 860 OPS for the team. Overall, they have 41 home runs in the month of May, 148 RBI, 101 extra base hits. I mean, it's all like the offense was absolutely outstanding through June. You can't say enough about it. And that was the big turning point, because if you ask me, through June as a whole, the bullpen did not pitch well. There was some bright spots in the bullpen. Don't get me wrong there. But as a whole, if you look at the bullpen as a whole, it's unsettled. There's anytime some of these guys go out there, you have to hold your breath. You don't know, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Are they even going to get through? You know, their bat. Are they going to get an out with their batters? You have to pitch 3 in that inning. I know the rule is you have to pitch to 3 if it's in the same inning, but if it switches innings, you can change your pitcher. So, can they get through those 3 batters? And or unless there's one out, you hope they don't get 2-3 batters. Then they're in a lot of trouble. But you have to leave them out there. That's what happens. You see that often. You want to pull that guy, but you can't. You have to wait. And it kind of, if you ask me, it happened tonight with Diekman. It was a lefty on lefty matchup. He gave up the walk to Abrams. Yeah, that's what it was. I think it was a walk to Abrams. And then the next batter up was a righty. And so I think, back in the day, a few years ago, you might have had Mendoza trotting back out there, or any manager really, and going to the bullpen again for that righty-righty matchup. Potentially. I could be wrong on that. But you used to see that all the time. The guy come in for one batter, and if he didn't get that batter, even if he did get that batter, the next batter's the opposite, side. They went to the bullpen. So, if this was a few years ago, there's probably a really good chance after Diekman walks Abrams that he goes to the bullpen and brings in a righty. And maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe that hit doesn't happen then. But with today's rules, trying to make the game faster, more friendlier to watch for the casual fan, that complains that it's too long. I mean, baseball does get long sometimes, does get a little bit boring. I get it. When people gripe about it, it's hard to argue against it sometimes. But yeah, I'm one of those guys that I could sit there and watch a 1-0, 3.5 hour game. Now, am I going to get bored sometimes? Yeah, I'll get bored sometimes. But it's to me, I still find it exciting enough where I'm still going to watch that whole game. But today I understand today's rules. Speeding it up, trying to make it more viewer friendly and TV friendly and all that stuff. But again, a couple years ago, maybe this doesn't happen. They go to the bullpen, righty on righty. I don't know. I got another comment here. Paul says yes, he was walked. Then it was a double, and he scored from first. It was a blur. Wow, he was the dude. Abrams was moving. Dude was trucking. Got to give it to him. Got to hand it to him. So the Mets, the June was fantastic. Starting pitching, pitched well also in June for the most part. You had Quintana struggled early in June, struggled all through May. Struggled early in June. Last couple starts in June were much, much better. Severino had, for the most part, a really good June starting. Minaya, I think he had one or two clunkers through June, but for the most part, a very good June. Peterson, with his return, he had a decent June. Tyler McGill, kind of sketchy through June. Christian Scott was sent down to the minors, so he didn't have any June starts. He started all of his starts were in May. And so overall, the starting pitching wasn't bad. Bullpen-wise, like I said, it's makes you uncomfortable with some of these guys. You just don't know what to expect. Like an Ottavino, Diekman, guys like that. Diaz, when he came back before suspension, after he came back off the IL stint and rehab or whatever, his rehab assignments down there in the minors, he wasn't looking bad either. Now you're gonna have those guys out there, the sticky stuff, blah blah blah. I don't buy it. Got caught using too much, fine. It is what it is. I'm the kind of guy where when in football, when Deflategate happened, the quarterbacks are deflating balls for a better grip and they can throw it better, especially in the cold. I don't care. Let them deflate the ball. Let them deflate the ball. They get paid the most money in the field. They're your superstars. They control the game. Let them deflate it a little bit. I don't understand the gripe with it. And pitchers, if it helps with their control, their command, guys aren't getting buzzed in the face, with a 101 mile an hour fastball. Let them get a little bit more sticky stuff on their hands. Now I understand it does affect spin rate. That's knocking runs down. Then it's less exciting. All right. So I see it both ways, but I'm also under the um, guys. I'm under the my thought on it is let them do it. If it helps them, let them do it. I don't know. The same thing with bats. If the extra pine tar in the bat helps you keep a better grip on the bat, so be it. If it adds a little bit more pop, that is what it is. Look at George Brett, right? Remember the whatever it was, 1980 something. Was it World Series? I think it was World Series where he hit that. I think it was a go-ahead home run, and then they called him out because his bat had too much pine tar on it, and he came running out, freaking out. So it is what it is. But I think if it helps, with a better grip, so be it. Same thing with the sticky stuff on the hands. If it helps with the grip, fine. I mean, I'm still convinced that the lad from San Diego had something on his a substance on his ear. I'm still convinced that he was using something from his ear to put it on the ball, but that is what it is. That back in 2022 playoffs, if you don't remember, that's fine. But every once in a while, I see it pop up, especially recently with the sticky stuff with Diaz. Of course, they showed I can't remember the pitcher's name. Of course, they show his ear all shined up. I'm like, you can't tell me there. You know what I mean? There's something on that dude's ear. Now they said he didn't go to the ear, but I'm not buying that either. I'm not buying it, not for 1 second. Oh, it's some sort of like lubrication because his ears get cold. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. Like, come on now. Anyway, Out of the Box Sports, happy 4th of July to all of our viewers and families from everyone at Out of the Box Sports. Be safe and eat good. Absolutely. And be safe with those fireworks. We want everybody with all these. And don't put that stuff in your butt. I mean, you see all these videos, it's always dudes. Dudes, what are you doing? Putting bottle rockets in their ass and then lighting them on fire. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's happening out there. Is that what the Revolutionary War was all about? Winning our independence? Is that what it's all about? So we can shoot fire rockets out of our assholes? I don't know. You won't get that kind of content on any other Mets podcast. I promise you that. No other Mets podcast, talk show, no podcast. Basically, is going to talk about people shooting fireworks out of their assholes on 4th of July. This guy does. All right, just so you know, remember where that came from. This guy right here. So be sure you like, follow, subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and X, Out of the Box Sports. And of course, the Batcave at the Batcave OOTBS on X. I also have a YouTube channel, but don't worry about my YouTube. Follow Out of the Box Sports YouTube channel at OOTBOXSP2 OOTBOXSPORTS OOT Box Sports on YouTube, X, and Facebook. So moving on from that, June was awesome. If you want to compare it. Those numbers, like I said, they batted 280 in June, 356 on base, a 504 slug, 860 OPS, 41 home runs, 148 RBIs, 101 extra base hits. Look at May, 9-19. They hit 232 in May. The Mets could not buy a hit in May. It was offensively it was so bad. 300 on base percentage, so that's a 56 point difference. 376 slug, 370. That's over 100 points. 100. I don't know what the number. I can't do that kind of math right now. Well over 100 points. Difference there. 677 OPS. That's almost a 200 point difference right there. 29 home runs compared to 41. 107 RBI compared to 148. 82 extra base hits compared to 101. And the big thing is they played more games in May. They played 28 games in May where they played 24 in June. So that's 4 more games in May, and they're still that far that much worse in May than they were in June. May was really, if the Mets had an average May, imagine where they'd be at right now. They'd be probably right on the Braves' heels, to be honest with you, with just an average May. If they go, I don't know, 13-14 or whatever it is, it's just a 500 May. That's a 4 or 5 game difference right there. They could be right behind the Braves. They could be maybe 9 games out instead of 13 and a half out. Paul Spencer says the Padres pitcher Joe Musgrove. Yes, Musgrave. Yes. Yeah, that's who it was. Again, I'm terrible with names. As soon as I see it, I remember who it was. Sip of iced tea for the working man. That's another thing. Great thing about the 4th of July is I don't have to work tonight. Beautiful. Good stuff going on there. So yeah, it was just absolutely terrible in May, and then just the complete opposite, complete 180 there in June. Hopefully, we keep trending the right way. Ever since that game against the Dodgers, where the Mets got absolutely destroyed, and you had Lopez throwing his glove over the netting, and having his little breakdown there in the locker room. However you want to translate what happened. Ever since then, they had a team meeting. Things started getting right. They started holding each other accountable and stuff like that. And sometimes that's what you need to do. Good leadership. I look at Lindor, JD Martinez. A lot of people have credited him with a lot of different things, especially with the hitting part of it, the offensive part. Iglesias, he's won. Down in the minor leagues. He said he was not really doing anything offensively, not defensively. Playing great. He said when JD Martinez was down there in the minors with him before JD was late to the roster. He was a late add, right there at the end of spring training. So he went through the first basically month of the season down in the minor leagues. He talked to Iglesias about his hitting. Something about weighted bats or whatever, and Iglesias says it's been a huge difference. He's hit for much more pop. Bat speed is much quicker since JD Martinez has helped him out. So, I mean, JD Martinez has been worth his weight in gold so far, not only with his production, just what he brings to the table as a veteran leader, his offensive mind. I think it was Pete Alonso saying he's like an offensive guru. He's a hitting guru. So that's just one of those guys that well worth the money that the Mets have spent on him. I think it was 1 year, $12 million, $12 million deal. And, I'd absolutely love it if they, threw another, 2-3 years at him, for, 45 mil or whatever it took, just to have him around for the next couple seasons to kind of, even just to stay around just for his leadership and, to work with the young guys that are going to be coming up here, potentially soon, like Luis Angel Acuna, Brett Beatty, if he ever comes back and whatnot, Martinez can kind of pull him off to the side, work with him. Right there's our next hitting coach, if you ask me. Don't let JD go. As soon as he's ready to retire, transition him right into hitting coach. So he's, a lot of guys give him a lot of credit. So right now, as it sits, some rankings for the Mets offensively. They're 10th in hits with 725, 4th in doubles, 156, 4th in home runs, 109, 5th in RBI, 398, 11th in the walks, 269, 9th in strikeouts, 675, 11th in stolen bases, 64, 9th in average, which has gone up considerably, 249, 9th in on-base percentage, 321, 8th in slug, 419. And looking at some of these guys here, Lindor, Nimmo, Alonso, from May to June, Lindor was hitting, below 200 for a bit there. Now he's, up to 250, 249, 250. Alonso, pretty much, the first couple months of the season until June, he's hitting 210, 215. He's up to the 250 mark, around that, 240, 245 to 250 in that range he's been hovering. Brandon Nimmo, he's been, fairly consistent in the 200s, 220 225. He's now up over 250. So just those guys alone, that just really turned it on through June, and hopefully they continue throughout July. Paul says, I'll be at the Sunday's game from the box at PNC. Wanted to go Friday, but football meetings. Skeens versus Severino on Friday. Yes, I'll be talking about the matchups coming up here real soon. And that is Friday's matchup, which should be a really good one. Paul Skeens, the phenom there in Pittsburgh. It's absolutely insane. Once I get to his numbers, I'll kind of highlight something there. And, Severino has been the Mets' ace so far this season. And it should be a very good pitching match. So that whole series, looking at it, I'll talk about it coming up here in a little bit. But that whole series, the Pirates seem like they have some pretty good starting pitchers on the bump for that series against the Mets, and we'll see where it goes from there. So, looking at some stats for some of the key players here offensively for the Mets so far to date. You look at Lindor hitting 249, 313 on base, a 446 slug, 15 stolen bases, 14 home runs, 41 RBI, 25 doubles. Brandon Nimmo hitting 251. He's putting out a lot of pop as well. 370 on base, 454 slug, 6 stolen bases, 13 home runs, 52 RBI. JD Martinez hitting 278, 360 on base, 493 slug, 10 home runs, 37 RBI. Again, he missed basically a month of the season already, because he was a late addition to the team. Alonso hitting 247, 332 on base, 478 slug, 18 home runs, 48 RBI, 20 doubles. He's been hitting for a little bit more pop recently. Vientos, who's been a great surprise. I don't know if he's really a surprise. This is what we kind of expected from Vientos, but I think his defense has been decent. It hasn't been great. It's probably been a notch below good, but it's definitely been better than bad. So that's why his defense has been decent, and that's part of the surprise there. You kind of worry about him handicapping you at third base, but he's made some terrific plays there. No, he's also made some missed some plays as well, but that bat makes up for it. Whereas you look at Brett Beatty, and he's playing decent to good defense, but no bat. So Vientos hitting 298, 355 on base, 567 slug, 10 home runs, 27 RBI. Francisco Alvarez, great to see him back. He came back about, I think it was June 11th. 301 batting average, 365 on base percentage, 513 slug, 4 home runs, 23 RBI. And the big thing for Alvarez is the Mets are, I think it's 23-3 now. I believe it's 23-3 after last night's game. When he starts, the Mets are 23-3. Unfortunately, he can't start every game because he's a catcher. They need that day. So again, he didn't start today. You had Luis Torrens. He did come in and pinch hit, but you had Torrens catching today, who's filled in admirably. He's played decent defense. He did have a pass ball tonight, but he's done a decent job behind the dish, as well as he's done a decent job at the plate. Kind of took that job from Narvaez, and Tomas Nido made both those guys expendable. Narvaez is in New York with the Yankees, and Nido is in Chicago with the Cubs right now. So both those guys were sent packing when Torrens came up and played as well as he did. But anyway, Alvarez has been awesome. The pitchers love it when he's back there. He steals a lot of strikes behind the dish with his framing, and then at the plate, it seems like every game that he starts, he does do something electric at the plate, whether it's a big double or a monster home run or something like that. He's a superstar in the making. So hopefully he continues on this positive trend offensively. And so looking at those numbers overall for the season, we look at June. Just what these Mets, what these key Mets did in June. Francisco Lindor hit 290 in June, 351 on base, 520 slug, 871 OPS, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, 11 doubles. So he has 25 doubles in the season. 11 of those came in 1 month. So good for him. Nimmo, he hit 315. Like I said, he's had moments before June where he's, you could, see the offensive pop that he can have. And finally in June, he showed the consistency that we were all looking for. 315 average, 406 on base. 406 on base is really impressive. 598 slug, 1.003 OPS, 6 home runs, 21 RBI, 6 doubles. Alonso, 272 in the month of June, 387 on base, 511 slug, 898 OPS, 5 home runs, 19 RBI, 7 doubles. JD Martinez hit 272 as well, 385 on base, 489 slug, 874 OPS, 4 home runs, 20 RBI, and 4 doubles. Mark Vientos hit 277 in June, 344 on base, 566 slug. That's awesome. 910 OPS, 7 home runs, 17 RBIs, 3 doubles. And like I said, Alvarez, he came back June 11th, so he missed basically the first week and a half in June with that thumb issue. And he missed most of May, if not all of it. I don't remember if it was all of May or it was definitely a large portion of May. He hit 375 in June, 456 on base, a 667 slug for a 1.123 OPS, 3 home runs, 12 RBI, 5 doubles. If you don't know, OPS is your on-base percentage and slug combined. I don't know why they do it. I guess maybe just so it's easier to see that number, but I like that number. I like the OPS. I'm an average. I like the average, batting average as well. A lot of people don't like batting average anymore. They say it doesn't mean anything. I think it does. So, whatever. I'm old like that, I guess. So June, turn the page on June. June's behind us now. We had Grimace. We had the OMG song released by Iglesias. I think that was June or July. I guess it would be no, it was June because we've been in Washington in July. So yeah, it was the end of June there. They released that song, OMG. He performed it at Citi Field. So now he's a pop star, I guess. I guess I was watching something on him there. I think it was on tonight's game. They were talking about it, where they said that after earlier in his career, starting off so well, and then just kind of taking a nosedive, he was looking for something to fall back on, and started the singing and stuff like that. Started his musical career, but continued with baseball, and thankfully kind of caught on because he's been pretty decent with the Mets so far. He hasn't been bad. So looking at June or past few starts anyway for some of these starting pitchers, Severino he's pitched 33 in the third innings in June. He was 2-0. The Mets were 4-1 in his starts. He didn't pitch less than 6 innings in any of his games. 3.24 ERA, which is fantastic. You need guys like that. 5 walks and 20 strikeouts. Sean Manaea, he's been pitching much better, especially with Francisco Alvarez back the other night. He pitched with Alvarez was catching. I think it was last night. Yeah, it wasn't. It was Tuesday night's game. He looked fantastic. I believe he won 7 innings, 1 earned run. He looked really, really good. So last 4 starts, 22 and 2/3 innings pitched for him, only 5 earned runs. Like I said, last game, 7 innings pitched, only 1 earned run. Jose Quintana is starting to pitch a little bit better as well, starting to kind of come out of it. 16 and 1/3 innings pitched his last 3 starts, 3 earned runs. Again, you want your guys to go a little bit deeper, especially with the bullpen issues that we're having. Diaz still on suspension. He should be back in that Pittsburgh series. I think tonight was game 7, I think they said. So I think the 3rd game of that Pittsburgh series, he should be available. Adrian Hauser's been awesome out of the bullpen, which shocks the hell out of me. I wanted him, put on a boat and sent to the Bermuda Triangle. So he kind of, fall into the black hole of space there, whatever the hell it is they got going on there. But he's been awesome out of the bullpen. 16 and 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, 11 strikeouts, 1.08 ERA. As a relief pitcher, I think that was for June. Daniel Nunez, since being called up, he's been awesome. 14 and 1/3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 15 strikeouts, 1.88 ERA. He's been a huge surprise. Really a very welcome surprise there. And David Peterson, since coming back from his IL stint, he's had 6 starts. He's only had one game where he allowed 4 earned runs or more, and that was 4 earned runs. The rest have been 2 earned runs or less. So he's pitched very well. He earned himself a rotational spot. Whereas you've seen Tyler McGill, he got sent down to the minors. Now, I'm not sure what their plan is with Tyler McGill. Is their plan to send him down to the minor leagues for now because we need bullpen help? Or is he going to go down there, start working maybe out of the bullpen, kind of get used to that before they call him back up? I'm not really sure what their plan is with him, but he has not looked good at all. That's a shame. I like Tyler McGill, but the Mets need bullpen help. Ottavino, he got the job done tonight, but he's not reliable. Diekman's not reliable. Hopefully we have the old Diaz back when he comes back. Nunez has been good. Reed Garrett, he's had his moments, where he's kind of shaky. He's had his moments where he's been very, very good. Sean Reed Foley, I think he's on the injured list. Drew Smith, I believe he's done for the season. They're looking at elbow surgery for him. I know that's a big bummer right there. And that was actually the game where Diaz was ejected for the sticky stuff. Drew Smith had to hurry up and warm up in the bullpen, and a lot of questions were raised if that's what caused the elbow injury to Drew Smith. And he said no, that wasn't it. It wasn't feeling right before that. And he was trying to kind of pitch through it and just didn't work. So, but still, yeah, you have to wonder, if he doesn't have to do the quick warm up there, did that exacerbate things? Did that make things a lot worse? I don't know. All right, so looking at the standings as they sit right now, at least at the time I wrote them down is after tonight's game. I'm not sure what other games are still going on. But looking at the NL East, the Phillies are still in the lead there, comfortably 56-29. Their run differentials at plus 123. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They've won 2 in a row. The Braves 47-37, still sitting 8.5 back. Their run differential sitting at plus 53. 5-5 in their last 10, and they won 1 game in a row, I guess you can say. I don't know. The Mets 42-42 now. They dropped back to 500. 13.5 back. Like I said, if they had a mediocre May instead of a terrible May, maybe they're right on the Braves' heels, but whatever. They're at a plus 13 run differential. They were in the minuses for a little bit, through May, but June turned that around. 6-4 in their last 10. Losers of 1 in a row now. Washington sitting at 40-46, 16.5 out, negative 20 run differential. 3-7 in their last 10, and they've won 1. Miami, 30-56, 26.5 out, a negative 136 run differential. It seems like it gets worse every time I read it. Every week, it seems to get further and further back. It's unbelievable. 4-6 in their last 10, losers of 3 in a row. We got a comment before I get to the wild card. Eileen checking in. Hello, Eileen. Is it still hump day? Let me check. Nope, it's not hump day anymore, Eileen. Sorry. Thirsty Thursday now. Happy 4th of July, everybody. So looking at the wild card, Atlanta sitting at the top of the wild card, 47-37 plus 3.5. They're up 3.5 games from that bottom spot. St. Louis, 44-41. San Diego, 46-43. They're sitting even. The Mets are 42-42, sitting 1.5 games back of the final wild card spot. Then you have San Francisco, 42-45, 3 back. Arizona, 41-44, 3 back. Pittsburgh, 41-44, 3 back. Cincinnati, 41-45, 3.5 back. Washington, 40-46, 4.5 back. And the Cubbies, 39-47, 5.5 back. Man, they have fallen off. If you look at the beginning of the month, in the beginning of June, Mets were behind all those teams. They were behind all those teams. They were at the bottom where the Cubs were. Washington was ahead of the Mets. Now they are sitting just 1.5 back of the final spot, and they're basically in 4th place for the wild card. So they did a lot of good work through June. Again, I said it 1,000 times tonight. Got to keep it going through July. If you can't keep it going through July, June meant nothing. June meant nothing then. It's going to be interesting what happens at the trade deadline if the Mets continue to win. Do they add? I said they were built to sell, and it'd be addition by subtraction. I've said it on several of my shows. If you've never watched, if this is the first time you're checking it out, if this is the first time you're checking it out, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Check us out. All of our other shows here on Out of the Box Sports, we have a ton of them. On just before me tonight was the Dem 215 boys with our boy Paul Spencer and the showstopper himself, Cowboy Dave Yarnell, talking Dallas Cowboy football. But we have shows for everybody here. Yeah, we have a Philadelphia show talking all Philadelphia sports. We have a Major League Baseball show talking all Major League Baseball. Raiders show I do a Kings show. I do this show, the Mets show. I'm also a part of a wrestling show, myself and Cowboy Dave. Dem 215 boys talking Cowboys. We have a Washington Commanders show, New York Giants show. We have a UFC show as well, and a whole bunch of stuff coming up here very soon. Notre Dame show coming will be returning soon. A College Football Frenzy, talking college football, will be returning soon. So yeah, it's a ton of shows. Something for everybody. And if there's something that you want to hear, or you want to do, you're like, hey, I wish I could do a show about my team, and reach out to us and we'll figure it out. We'll set you up. And we'll show you how to do it or what to do, and it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it. So there you have it. Anyway, back to the show. So coming up here, the Mets tomorrow, like I said, 11:05 a.m. start. Kind of wonky there. You'll have Jose Quintana versus Jake Irvine. Quintana's 3-5 with a 4.57 ERA, 1.37 WHIP in 82 2/3 innings pitched. He has 65 strikeouts, 29 walks, and 13 home runs given up. Looking at Jake Irvine, 6-6, 3.03 ERA, 1.06 WHIP, 98 innings pitched, 86 strikeouts, 23 walks, and he has given up 10 home runs. Then the Mets travel to Pittsburgh starting Friday. First game, you'll have Luis Severino versus Paul Skeens. Like I mentioned earlier, the pitching phenom there, everybody's excited about, not only in Pittsburgh, but all Major League Baseball. Severino, the Mets ace, is at 5-2, 3.42 ERA, 1.16 WHIP, 97 1/3 innings pitched, 74 strikeouts, 32 walks, 9 home runs. Paul Skeens so far is 4-0, 2.06 ERA, 1.03 WHIP, 52 1/3 innings pitched, 70 strikeouts, 10 walks, 6 home runs. Now, think about that. Just Severino, 97 1/3 innings pitched, right? 74 strikeouts. Paul Skeens, 52 1/3 innings pitched. That's 45 less innings. And he has 70 strikeouts. He has 4 less strikeouts than what Severino has. So that's amazing. The dude is just very impressive, throws hard, has some great nasty stuff. Does give up the long ball. 6 home runs given up so far in his through his starts. But it's gonna be electric. Then you have David Peterson versus Bailey Falter. Peterson's 3-0, 3.51 ERA, 1.44 WHIP, 33 1/3 innings pitched, 22 Ks, 14 walks, 3 home runs given up. Falter's 4-6, 3.87 ERA, 1.14 WHIP, 88 1/3 innings pitched, 59 strikeouts, 26 walks, 12 home runs given up. So he does give up a lot of bases on walks, and also gives up a good bit of home runs. Sean Manaea, 5-3, 3.67 ERA, 1.27 WHIP, 83 1/3 innings pitched, 81 strikeouts, 36 walks, 7 home runs given up. He'll be facing Mitch Keller. This is, I believe, Sunday's game. Mitch Keller's 9-5, 3.48 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, 103 1/3 innings pitched, 96 Ks, 27 walks, 10 home runs. And then the series finale will be Christian Scott, who's 0-2. The Mets, I think, have only one game that he started so far this season. He hasn't won a game yet, but he's 0-2, 4.32 ERA, 1.14 WHIP, 33 and a third innings pitched, 27 Ks, 8 walks, 4 home runs, and he'll be facing Jared Jones, who's 5-6, 3.56 ERA, 1.11 WHIP, 91 innings pitched, 98 strikeouts, 27 walks, and 12 home runs. So those are your starters coming up for the Mets-Pirates series. And tomorrow's Mets-Washington game, Quintana and Jake Irvine. So I guess the all-star starters were announced today as well. The Mets did not have any starters, I believe. I think the Phillies, for some reason, I think the Phillies had 3, which it was, I think it was Alec Boehm, Trey Turner, and Bryce Harper. I could be wrong, though. That's what I thought I read. I think the reserves will be announced on Sunday. Kodai Senga made his first rehab start. Let me see. I would look at this here real quick. I wanted to look it up before I came on. Senga 35 pitch outing Wednesday night. He went 2 2/3 innings scoreless and hitless. So that's good for the Mets. He did that in Brooklyn for the Brooklyn Cyclones. That's on a high A ball club. So I assume that they'll gradually work him up, to double A, to triple A, or maybe they'll jump right to triple A after a couple of starts in a high A. Maybe it depends on where these teams are at. Also, do they want to keep him in New York? So whoever's home, they'll send him there. I'm not sure. So, all right. Go ahead and do our sponsor read here. Our boy Jason Fine. Let me pull it up. We got Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. You reach Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and fall, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. His offices are located in New Jersey. He's located Cherry Hill, New Jersey, 3 Greens Ward Lane. Boy, I fumbled that one up. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. And in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the offices are located on 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the offices are located 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. That's Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. All right. So that's all I have for today. I appreciate everybody for watching, checking the show out. To those that commented, thank you very much. Everybody else, please like, follow, subscribe. Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. We're on Facebook, YouTube, X. We're also on the Instagram, TikTok. I'll throw TikTok videos up there from time to time. I know Paul, he'll throw Out of the Box Sports TikToks up as well. Always, sharing stuff on X. Out of the Box Sports is very, very active on X, so be sure you check that out. Give them a follow. Give me a follow as well, if you don't mind. But more importantly, give Out of the Box Sports a follow. Like I said, very active in all sports and also betting and stuff like that. So give them a follow. All right, so that's all I have for today. Thank you very much, and I will see you again next Wednesday. Should be Wednesday morning next week. I believe I don't have anything going on in the morning. So be sure to tune in. Same bat time, same bat channel. See you guys then. Let's go Mets.